Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa's eventual match is something that many fans are anticipating, and that may finally happen at the upcoming WWE Bad Blood event. However, a special stipulation could be in place instead of the usual singles match. The original tribal chief made his long-awaited return to television during this year's SummerSlam, where he laid out his former enforcer during the latter's Bloodline Rules match against Cody Rhodes, enabling the American Nightmare to retain the undisputed WWE title. Roman Reigns and Solo's Bloodline began feuding on SmackDown, and the group eventually managed to get the upper hand on an episode of the Blue Brand last month due to the numbers advantage. The former Universal Champion has been absent from TV since then. However, Reigns could spoil his cousin's plans again this week on SmackDown and challenge the Street Champ to a tribal combat at the upcoming Bad Blood PLE. Solo is set to lock horns with reigning champion Cody Rhodes in a steel cage match on SmackDown's season premiere on the USA Network this Friday. Many think Roman could return and cost Solo the title again during the match. However, the original tribal chief might go one step ahead and challenge his former enforcer to a tribal combat at Bad Blood. For those unaware, a tribal combat is a no disqualification match, which can only take place after a nod of approval from the elders of the Anoa'i family. The match may not involve a championship, but something much bigger, the title of the tribal chief. The most prominent tribal combat that happened was between Roman and Jey Uso at the 2023 SummerSlam. However, the angle is speculative at this point. Which WWE star should Solo Sikoa worry about aside from Roman Reigns? Solo Sikoa could land in a major problem if Roman Reigns returns to Friday Night SmackDown this week to spoil the Street Champion's chances of beating Cody Rhodes. Interestingly, apart from his former tribal chief, Sikoa may also need to keep a close eye on his enforcer, Jacob Fatu. Tension between Solo and Jacob has been visible in recent times. Last week, the Samoan werewolf nearly stepped up to the American Nightmare's challenge before the self-proclaimed tribal chief intervened. Meanwhile, former WWE employee Tommy Carlucci recently claimed on the Behind the Turnbuckle, the Last Word podcast, that Fatu would eventually turn his back on Sikoa, adding that the events of last week were a setup for the eventual betrayal. Like I told you, there's gonna be heat between these two guys, coach. He got up on the top rope. Jacob Fatu, looked at him, Solo Sikoa, and he jumped down and said, "You're my tribal chief." But that's all a little setup down the road, where I think Jacob is going to turn on Solo, he said. It will be interesting to see if Roman Reigns interferes during the steel cage match this Friday. The tribal drums have never been louder. After months of simmering tension within the bloodline, Roman Reigns is reportedly planning to resurrect an iconic WWE match format at the upcoming WWE Bad Blood event, a move that could send shockwaves through the company. This development comes amid swirling rumors that the match will pit none other than Reigns himself against his cousin and bloodline enforcer, Solo Sikoa. The Bloodline saga has been one of WWE's most captivating stories in recent memory. Roman Reigns, the self-proclaimed tribal chief, has reigned supreme over SmackDown, with his cousins by his side, first the Usos, and then the emergence of Solo Sikoa. But as with all power struggles, the fractures in this family are beginning to show. With Jey Uso officially walking out of WWE and Jimmy Uso on the sidelines after recent betrayals, it seems Reigns may have reached his breaking point with the last remaining ally, Solo. The Challenge WWE insiders have leaked that Reigns plans to challenge Solo Sikoa to an I Quit match at WWE Bad Blood, a brutal stipulation that has often been used to settle personal and deeply emotional rivalries. The I Quit match is infamous for its high-stakes drama, with the only way to win being to force your opponent to utter the two humiliating words, "I quit." For Roman Reigns, this challenge goes beyond wrestling. It's about power, respect, and solidifying his place at the head of the bloodline. For Solo, it's a chance to step out from under Roman's shadow and assert his dominance. Both men have a legitimate claim to leadership, but in Reigns' eyes, no one is worthy of the tribal chief's throne but him. In Solo's eyes, his time may have come. Roman struggles with loyalty. For months, Roman Reigns has shown signs of unease with Solo Sikoa. Solo, while loyal and seemingly willing to follow Reigns' commands, is a wild card, a silent, powerful force who operates on instinct and emotion. While Roman had full control over the Usos, Solo's loyalty has always felt more tentative. Roman has visibly bristled during moments when Solo took matters into his own hands, often saving matches for Reigns but making it clear that he did so on his terms. The climax of these frustrations appeared to come during the fallout from SummerSlam, when the Bloodline faced a devastating loss. Jimmy turned on Jay, creating an irreparable rift in the family. Solo stood by Roman's side, but there was an undeniable shift in the dynamic. Reigns, still reeling from the fractured family, began to see Solo not just as a protector but as a potential threat. WWE fans have picked up on this unease. With Roman's paranoia growing, whispers started to circulate that the tribal chief's days as the unquestioned leader of the Bloodline were numbered. Solo's moment of truth. While Roman's paranoia may be growing, Solo's ambitions are on the rise. Having decimated competitors left and right, Solo has carved out a reputation as an indomitable force. His silence speaks louder than words, and his explosive performances in the ring have left WWE superstars and fans alike in awe. But now, Solo's allegiance to Roman has come into question, and the tension between the two has been palpable. Solo Sikoa's loyalty has always been to the family, but whether that family is the Bloodline as led by Roman or the blood running through his own veins is the key question. With Jay gone and Jimmy's motives unclear, Solo stands as the last remaining piece of the original Bloodline, and it's possible he wants more than just the role of enforcer. At WWE Bad Blood, Solo could seize the opportunity to redefine his future. An I Quit match would force Solo to choose between his loyalty to Roman and his desire to be more than a bodyguard. The symbolism of forcing Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, to utter I quit would elevate Solo's status beyond anyone's expectations. For Reigns, the challenge isn't just about winning, it's about maintaining his grip on the family and securing his place in WWE history. The stakes of an I Quit match. The I Quit match is a brutal affair. It's not about pinfalls or submissions, it's about breaking your opponent mentally and physically until they submit. The match has deep roots in WWE's history, having been the culmination of some of the company's most iconic feuds. Legends like The Rock, Mankind, John Cena, and Batista have all engaged in the match, which almost always leaves lasting scars, both physical and emotional. For Reigns and Solo, the stakes couldn't be higher. If Solo were to win, it would symbolize a seismic shift in the WWE landscape. Roman Reigns, who has dominated the wrestling world for nearly 3 years, would be forced to bow before his cousin, acknowledging Solo's strength and supremacy. On the flip side, if Reigns were to win, it would solidify his place as the most dominant WWE superstar of the modern era. By defeating Solo in such a high-stakes environment, Reigns would reaffirm his control over the Bloodline and perhaps rid himself of the one person who could potentially challenge his authority. The psychological warfare between the two would be just as important as the physical brutality. Reigns, ever the manipulator, has always known how to get into his opponents' heads, and Solo, silent and stoic, will have to rely on sheer willpower and determination to avoid cracking under the pressure. Roman's mastery of mind games could be the deciding factor, but Solo's sheer strength and resilience may prove too much for the tribal chief. Fallout from WWE Bad Blood. Regardless of the outcome, the WWE landscape will be forever changed after WWE Bad Blood. If Solo wins, the door is open for him to lead a new chapter of the Bloodline, perhaps bringing in fresh faces or even reconciling with his brothers to create a new faction. Roman Reigns, humbled and beaten, would have to reckon with his future and perhaps even consider stepping away from WWE altogether, a scenario that fans have speculated about for months. However, if Roman prevails, it's likely that the Bloodline will once again rally around the tribal chief, albeit with a fractured dynamic. Solo, in defeat, would either reaffirm his loyalty or strike out on his own, leaving Reigns with even fewer allies in his quest to maintain dominance. Conclusion: as WWE Bad Blood approaches, fans are eagerly anticipating what could be one of the most significant matches in WWE history. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, two men bound by blood and torn apart by ambition, are on a collision course. An I Quit match between them promises to be a brutal, emotional affair, one that will leave the WWE Universe buzzing for years to come.